Andrea is a successful single mom in California whose son keeps asking her to buy Bitcoin and gamble in the crypto casino. Watch as we take Andrea from zero to stacking her first sats. You're going to have to get all the way to the end of the sea. Here's Andrea. Welcome to Sat Chats, the Bitcoin podcast where we chat about sats. Sats are the smallest part of a Bitcoin, the same way pennies are the smallest part of a dollar. With Sat Chats, we are building the world's biggest Bitcoin welcome center to serve as your gateway to generational wealth. So if you're brand new to Bitcoin, we want to chat about sats with you. Head to satchats.com to grab your slot in the studio today. I'm your host, Stuart, Bitcoin Maxi, who wears prescription sunglasses to protect you and your loved ones from my Bitcoin laser eyes.
And I'm your co-host, Chris, founder and CEO of Ithaca Hummus, proud multi-coiner and smash buyer. Head to YouTube and smash the subscribe button, just like I smash Bitcoin. When we get to 1,000 subscribers, we're going to be unlocking a live show Friday mornings, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you are one of the first 1,000 subscribers, you will be entered to win 1 million sats.
So we are on the road to number 99, Kristen, the end boss, my wife. She lets me buy $50 of Bitcoin a week. I want her to let me yeet all of our money into Bitcoin. So we are training as hard as we can with ladies like Andrea who have questions about Bitcoin. Andrea is going to help me train like Rocky IV coming up against Drago. So Andrea, we are going to be answering your Bitcoin questions today. But before we do, help our satillionaires listening and watching get to know you a little bit more.
Okay, I'm Andrea Thornton. I'm founder of Prolific Public Relations and Prolific Events. I'm a single mom living in Orange County, California, and I've got two young men. One's a high schooler and one's in college. So they're a little bit ahead of me on all this financial stuff. So we're going to chat.
Yeah, tell me about, it sounds like your older boy wants you to get some Bitcoin. So tell us the story of your oldest and what he's been trying to do and for how long and how's he going about it?
Oh, well, he's really into studying the market. He gets up really early and he watches what he calls the candlesticks and kind of looks at everything. And I think he's been like doing some modules for training for day trading, those type of things. And we're in a group chat with a bunch of other people and looking at different coins to buy and hold and all this and that. So that's kind of where it is with him. So he'll tell me a bunch of stuff and tell me to open a wallet here, a wallet there. So we're kind of working through the details right now.
Mm-hmm. And how do you feel when he's coming to you and saying, "Hey, Mom, you got to get some Bitcoin," or even in this case, it sounds like, "Hey, come get some of this latest cryptocurrency. Maybe it's Ethereum, maybe it's Solana, maybe it's a meme coin." Like, when he comes to you with this stuff, do you feel like he's talking about something real? Why not take him seriously?
Well, I just didn't think it was real money because I always say, "Is it real money?" Because like if he tells me he makes money on it, I'm like, is it real money? Can you use it? Or is this something you're just collecting, right? So we've been having that kind of discussion, like, is this real money? And for somebody like me, I mean, I'm not young like he is, so I don't put my money in something that's risky at my age. So is this an investment? Is this something where, you're just collecting to try? So that's been my question with him, not really taking it too serious.
So when you think about money, is your focus on taking a risk with it to get a whole bunch more of it? Or is it making sure you have enough of it to stay safe, to stay secure? Like, what's the primary function of money for you at this, stage of your life?
Yeah, for me, it's going to be security, right? I mean, I'll take some risks because I'm not like ancient old, but I mean, I also know that I have like so many working years left in me, and I want to be able to um, do some other things that I want to do and have a nest egg, right? So for me, I really didn't understand his concept of Bitcoin, meme coin, and all these things he was talking about. Number one, I really didn't understand how they all, were all different, and so that security would be the thing.
Okay. Okay. So let's see here. What I want to do, Andrea, is kind of get down to the core of what's going on here. And it sounds like we could spend some time helping you understand the difference between Bitcoin and crypto, which is, everything else that your son is going after. And also to kind of explore more about this idea of security. And maybe, everybody is this way where kind of maybe you're riskier as you're younger, and then you get less and less risky as you get older, and then you kind of want to land that plane nicely in retirement. And it wouldn't be so great if you took a risk later in life that blew up in your face, and then you don't have enough money to live a dignified life. But maybe I can just start by asking you, um, uh, I guess, how much do you know about Bitcoin?
I know the name. I know that. No, nothing. Not much. Not much.
And that's okay. That's okay. This show is specifically built for beginners. And we feel like the listener who doesn't know anything about Bitcoin is going to identify with you, and they're going to listen along while you ask questions that are the same questions they're having. So, what is holding you back from stacking your first sats? Your first buying your first little piece of Bitcoin. What's holding you back?
Um, I would think just understanding like where, like, is it something tradable? Can I put this in the bank? What happens after I buy it? Like, let's say I bought it and then, oh, I saw an increase. Now, what does that mean for me? Like, what can I do with this?
Okay. Okay. So it's almost like you're wondering, is my son chasing after digital Air Jordans that aren't really anything real at all? It might be a bubble. It's like the tulip craze in the Netherlands hundreds of years ago, or it's just this digital phenomenon that we're all chasing after that's not real. Or is it something real that I could invest in the same way I invest in stocks or bonds, maybe through my retirement, maybe through an app like Robinhood? Like, are you kind of grappling with the idea of, is Bitcoin even real?
Yes, exactly. It's what I say to him all the time.
Okay. So, I think the first thing we should do, Andrea, is draw a line in the sand real quick. Okay. Um, and it's basically, what is Bitcoin and what is crypto? Because one thing that we find with a lot of beginners like you, and I was the same way, is that Bitcoin gets mixed into the world of crypto, and it gets very confusing very quickly. So your son, who I love already, getting up early, I'm assuming on the West Coast, in order to trade the Wall Street action on the East Coast. He's looking at charts. He's doing his candles. He's keeping an eye out for the God candle. He's interested in this whole world of cryptocurrency, is what it sounds like. Well, on this show, Andrea, we say Bitcoin is Bitcoin and crypto is kryptonite. We focus on Bitcoin. We feel like Bitcoin is secure. We feel like Bitcoin is real. We feel like Bitcoin is risk-free. We feel like cryptocurrency is just a swirling maelstrom of things that are not real. I mean, Some of them are like token powered applications, kind of like if you went to an old video game arcade, Andrea, and you put your $20 into the change machine and it gave you like arcade tokens that you could then go play the stand-up arcade games with. It's like a money, quote unquote, that only works for the one thing that you're trying to use it for. There's a whole group of them that are meme coins, like you talked about, where you're like, what is Dogecoin? What is Pepe coin? This is literally meaningless. And then there's some of them that are just fully scams, fully just somebody is literally attempting to get you to give them your money and then they disappear and that's it. So the whole world of crypto, it's like, no, thank you. That feels too risky for us, no matter where you are in your life. We just focus on Bitcoin. So what makes Bitcoin different from crypto is that Bitcoin it's like a program. It's like a computer program that operates according to rules that everyone can see. No one can change. No one's in control of Bitcoin, but everyone's in control of Bitcoin. Over here in crypto, a company just makes a crypto and says, hey, we made a crypto. And then they can make more of it later. They can pull it out. They can shut it down. They can turn it on. It's just like a company producing something. They have control over it. Bitcoin is like a digital gold where who controls gold? Nobody. It's just a thing in the ground that happens to be really good money. Who controls Bitcoin? Nobody. It's just a thing on the internet that happens to be really good money. So that's like a quick division we want to make. And I'm going to stop there and ask you, how do you feel about this concept of Bitcoin is Bitcoin and crypto is kryptonite, but at the very least, it's something different?
Yeah, I think that's it was a good explanation. So it's kind of like you're not in control of what's going on with um, if it's not a Bitcoin. So at least Bitcoin, you can control when you're purchasing it, and the value on the other one, the crypto, is controlled by somebody else, and they're controlling how much it's worth and when it's available and all that kind of thing. Sounds like I got it. Hopefully,
With Bitcoin, you're not necessarily in control, but you can rest assured that the rules that make Bitcoin Bitcoin are not going to change because Bitcoin is decentralized. It runs off of something that we call distributed consensus. Everyone who participates in the Bitcoin network has to agree if anything is going to be changed about Bitcoin.
But a few people at a company could make a change to their cryptocurrency if they wanted. So we don't need to go too crazy in that area. It's just, we're going to make the case for you, Andrea, that Bitcoin is like a store of value. It's like a vault where you can put your wealth and be sure that it's going to be okay. And actually even a whole lot more later. When your son comes to you about Bitcoin, listen to him. When he comes to you about crypto, Solana, this, that, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, but you should view that more like the crypto casino where, you know, you're making your bets just like somebody who is a Wall Street guy and wants to buy a stock low and sell it high or short this thing or, you know, that's that whole world. You know, Bitcoin is where you can take some money you have, put it there, and it's going to be beautiful when you want it later. I just wanted to make that, you know, just to kind of help, like, let's just separate all that out. We're going to focus only on Bitcoin. And the question you asked was, well, can I buy it? Can I sell it? Can I hang on to it? And then when I'm ready to maybe sell it, can I even sell it? Is it a real thing? Right?
yes.
I just want to make sure I'm hearing your question because I absolutely could not hear another lady's questions a few days ago, and it was a tragedy. So I want to make sure I'm focused on what your question is, and it is like, well, if it is a store of value, how do I work with it, right?
Exactly. How do I work with it?
Okay. So there are a couple of ways that you could get started as a beginner, and let's start with one of the easiest ways to get started. I'm saying that word a lot. If you have a son who's focused on Wall Street, stocks, bonds, we can start there because as of this time last year, Wall Street looked at Bitcoin and said, oh my goodness, Bitcoin, this is great stuff. And companies like BlackRock and Fidelity, these trillion-dollar asset managers were out there with PowerPoints teaching their customers and their investors that Bitcoin was a quote unquote neutral reserve asset, which is shorthand for it's like gold. And you could put a portion of your portfolio into Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation, against printing more money, against uncertainty or war or recession. It's like a place where you can put a piece of your portfolio to keep it safe. Now, they aren't pitching it for what it truly is. And they're kind of making it seem like investing in their funds, their stocks, their bonds might give you a greater return over time than Bitcoin. And Bitcoin's like a boring digital gold where you just kind of park your money to keep it safe, and that's fine. What's really going to happen is that the money you park in Bitcoin is going to go to the moon, but we don't need to worry about that for right now. So these huge money managers started recommending that their customers put 1% or 2% or maybe 3% of their portfolio into Bitcoin. So let me stop and ask you, if you have a 401k or an IRA or a Roth IRA, some kind of vehicle that gives you access to Wall Street's mutual funds and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I have a 401k and then an IRA.
Okay. And is it with Fidelity? Is it with, Vanguard? Who's that with?
It's with Vanguard.
Vanguard. Okay. So Vanguard, I'm not so sure if they can give you access to Bitcoin. And here's why. Last year, all of these money managers were announcing that they were going to be offering Bitcoin. Now, this Bitcoin comes in the form of something called an ETF, which basically means Fidelity buys the Bitcoin, and then they turn around and sell you shares of the Bitcoin. That's what that means. So it's like breaking up the Bitcoin into 100 shares and saying you can buy a share, you can buy 3 shares, 4 shares, and they just make a little entry in their ledger that you have a share of that Bitcoin. Okay. So think of it like somebody having a gold bar in their bank and they're saying you can buy 1/10 of this gold bar and I'll just make a note that 1/10 of that is yours, versus literally melting down the gold bar, giving you 10%, and then you go take that little gold coin and put it in your house and take care of it yourself, right? So they'll package up the Bitcoin and they'll buy it by the bottle, they'll sell it to you by the shot. It's worked for centuries, right? We love that. So Fidelity said we're going to do it. BlackRock said we're going to do it. The CEO of Vanguard said Bitcoin's dumb, we're not going to do it. He has since been forced out of the company because that was the dumbest decision he's ever made in his whole life. He wrecked himself. BlackRock, Fidelity, and these other money managers went on to absorb billions of dollars from people who want to buy Bitcoin in that way. Vanguard got none of that action. The CEO, see you later, homie. He's gone. So Vanguard might now be catching up to where it has options for you, and that would be worth exploring. But if not, I would move that from Vanguard straight to Fidelity. Shout out to Abby. And I would gobble up some of the ETF there. And you can just do 1% or 2% or 3%, right? So let's stop for a second. Let's imagine you could get some Bitcoin through Vanguard. Would you be willing to get to put 1 or 2 or 3% of your portfolio into Bitcoin through Vanguard now, or are there more roadblocks or emotional obstacles to kind of getting behind the Bitcoin?
No, I guess if it's something that's available to be traded. So, okay. So let's say in Vanguard, I have mutual funds. So you're saying take a percentage of the mutual fund and that goes into the Bitcoin and it's actually more solid than what's in the mutual funds.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So many times so better good than the mutual fund. So you would need to basically go to your account and you would need to sell a percentage of your holdings, right? Because you can't just convert your mutual fund into the Bitcoin ETF. You got to remember those letters there. You would need to sell a piece of your mutual funds so that they could put some cash in your account, and then you could direct that cash into the Bitcoin ETF. But short story long, yes, you could swap out a few percentage points of your portfolio from a mutual fund or a collection of mutual funds to this Bitcoin ETF. And here's what happens when you do that. They conducted a study, or as my dad would say, there was a study conducted where they looked at what would happen a couple of years ago, maybe from the 2021 to 2024 period. If you had put 3% of your retirement portfolio into Bitcoin in 2021, then by 2024, it would be 80% of your portfolio.
Ah, okay.
Simply
Wow.
because it had grown exponentially without you having to do anything at all. It's not that the rest. It's not that the remaining 97% of your portfolio did poorly or went to the floor. It's just that Bitcoin grows in value so much that it grows to push. It makes your portfolio this much bigger, and it takes up the lion's share. Can you believe that?
Wow. Hmm. Wow.
I mean, the risk of 3% of your portfolio going to zero is not very risky. And if in exchange for risking 3% of your portfolio today, it grows to be 80+% of your portfolio without any of the rest of your portfolio losing any money, holy smokes. I mean, would you take that deal?
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like something that would be beneficial. So yeah. Huh.
Okay.
Andrea, would it be helpful if we went more into what is Bitcoin actually and what makes it valuable?
Yeah, that would be good. And then when you hear the word meme coin versus Bitcoin, they're in the same family, correct?
No, no.
No.
Meme coin is crypto. Meme coin is
Oh,
crypto.
okay. That's okay.
The only thing that is Bitcoin. Literally anything but Bitcoin is just nothing you need to worry about. Nothing at all. Just literally ignore it. Don't worry about it. You don't need a meme coin. You don't need a cryptocurrency. You don't need an initial coin off. Nothing.
NFT, don't need that.
Nothing.
Like it's no.
Mm-mm,
It's a
mm-mm.
nasty, nasty world of these
Get rich quick schemes and just don't worry about it.
It sounds too good to be true. It probably is, right?
Now your son's not doing anything wrong, by the way.
No.
And it was is his name? What was it? Is it Christian or Christopher? What is it?
Yeah. hmm Christopher.
Christopher. So he's not doing anything wrong by being an active trader. I love that he's a young guy interested in finances and doing well for himself. That wasn't me. I was just partying and destroying my body. I spent my 30s paying down my 20s. It was horrible. And I'm still physically in debt. So anyways, he's not doing anything wrong by being interested in that space because he can get in, he can get out, he can trade, he can candle, he can chart. But for someone like you who's a single mom, working hard, got your public relations business, ain't nobody got time for that. We need our hard-earned value to go somewhere. Well, it will be there when we come back later because we're done earning, right? So all the meme coins, all that, just Bitcoin. Okay. So we've already locked in this idea of Bitcoin being an excellent investment vehicle if you just want to put a couple of percentage points of your existing portfolio into it And I guarantee 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, you're going to be like, oh my goodness, I'm so glad I jumped on Sat Chats with Stuart and Chris, because I just bought an island. I just bought my own island. What am I even doing here? This is incredible. I took my hover plane to the island. Yeah, just for 3% of my portfolio in 2025.
Yeah.
So, but we want to take you a little bit further, okay? We want to take you to a point where you realize not only is Bitcoin a good investment, it is the greatest investment and the safest investment and the most secure of any options available to you. Better than Wall Street, better than real estate, better than gold, the best, okay? Oh
Yes,
my
yes,
gosh.
yes.
Like infinitely better. Yeah, take a seat, Andrea, because we're about to tell you why it's better than a house. So how did you feel when I made the claim that Bitcoin is a better investment than real estate?
That was intriguing. I was like, because real estate, you build equity, it's there. Whatever's going on, you keep it, right? It can't be, it can be bought, sold, leveraged. So that's why I was like,
And real estate is a fine investment and has been for a long time. Land is a good investment, has been for a long time. Gold, great investment, has been for a long time. Your son's Solana, not so sure. Chasing after sneakers or streetwear, no thanks. For me, what I want as a hardworking dad is the best possible investment. I don't want one that's been good. I want the best one. And for some of the reasons that we will try to, without getting too far into the weeds of how Bitcoin works as a internet money, over the past 16 years, Bitcoin has outperformed every other asset every single year by a long, long shot.
wow. I mean, I want to hear about this.
Okay. So, with real estate, to your point, it's something in the real world. You can leverage, right? You can get a loan to kind of do the down payment, and then maybe either you're living in it and you're planning on selling it later. Maybe you're renting it out and it's creating cash flow. That's really cool. And homes, just the price of homes just go up, period, right? Especially out there in Orange County, California, where a 300 square foot dumpster is going for $8 million. And you're like, what, how could this house possibly have that much value? It's got a roof and doors and windows like any other house I've ever seen. So it's a good investment, but something's going on where when you look at the appreciation of the home, you have to subtract the increase in the money supply, because when your home is increasing in value in dollar terms, it's doing so partly because the home is becoming more valuable. Maybe the location is becoming more value, but partly just because the government is printing more money. And that's inflating your asset, because all these fresh dollars are chasing after the same asset, because there's a class of people who know the US dollar isn't so cool. And when they get their hands on it, they need to get it somewhere safe quickly.
So the cost of your home isn't going up. The value of your dollars are going down. Plus, the other thing that you have to do with real estate, you got to pay property tax. You don't pay property tax on Bitcoin.
No. And you got to upkeep it, and like, can a tree fall on Bitcoin?
No.
Can Bitcoin get burned in a wildfire?
I don't need wind insurance on my Bitcoin.
Right. There's a lot of risk
and insurance
in real estate,
and costs and carrying costs.
But let me stop right there and say, how do you feel about this idea that whoa? my house might not be getting that much more expensive because it's that much more value. Part of it could be the dollar is not good. My everyday expenses as a mom might not be going up because things are more expensive. It might be going up because I can't buy as much with the same money anymore.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's different. Yeah.
Andrea, do you have any other specific questions about Bitcoin itself? Like, how is it? Where does it come from? Like,
That's actually a good point. Like, where does it come from? Is it like who decides the coin? Is it like a corporation? Well, you told me it wasn't a corporation before. So is it a group that gets together and they're like, this coin, this is what we're doing?
Stuart, can I start you off?
Sure.
Okay, so 2008 financial crisis, right? Happens. There is this group of open source coders, libertarians, cypherpunks. They go by a few different names. This specific type of basically computer nerd, hanging out in these chat rooms, all discussing like what is going on with our money. What's going on with the US government, with the central bank, the Federal Reserve? And they banded together and decided that we needed a newer, better form of money that was fit for the digital age. And they started creating all these different types of digital currencies, and they got it wrong a lot. They made one and it didn't have this, and then they made another one. It was pretty good, but the problem with it was you could control copy paste it, and you could spend it more than one time, until finally Satoshi Nakamoto creates Bitcoin. And what that really means is he developed a piece of software, which literally is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is software. It's a set of rules. Bitcoin is mined just like gold is mined. It takes energy. It takes work. Bitcoin requires energy that powers computers, and the computers sit there and they try to solve this puzzle. And these puzzles are so complicated that they don't even do math to solve them. They just guess numbers in sequence. There's one computer that finally guesses the right number. That computer is rewarded with a new block reward. At the beginning of Bitcoin, the reward was like 50 Bitcoin. Just about every 4 years, that block reward gets cut in half. So it went from 50 down to 25, down to 12 and a half, because that block reward gets cut in half and half and half and half every 4 years. That creates this digital currency that has extreme scarcity. There's only so much that will ever be made. And what happens is, as the demand for this Bitcoin goes up over time and the new supply flow goes down, the price in dollars goes up. So that's my rough understanding. Stuart's much better at wordsmithing, which is why he does all the talking here than I am. But I did want to just, offer at least my version of the explanation.
Yeah. So instead of money that is powered by your government or money powered by the laws of the universe, like gold that has to be formed in the heart of a dying star, this is money powered by a software program on the internet. And, the future is digital. So why are we using money that isn't digital? It doesn't make any old sense. Now, it's such good money that we don't even know what we're looking at, and we just think it's an investment. So as an investment, it's going up and up and up and up. So your home, your real estate, might be appreciating at 8 or 9% per year. But when you account for the fact that there's 5% more money every year, you have to realize that your home only went up 3 or 4%. If your home is appreciating at 8 or 9% a year, but there's 5% more money, 8 or 9 minus 5 is 3 or 4. It's like, dang, my home's value isn't going up as much as I thought. Plus, I need to pay taxes. I need insurance. A tree could fall on it. It could get burned up in a fire. It could get flooded. It could get termites, for goodness sake. Bitcoin lives on the internet. It's bleeps, it's bloops. You can't destroy it. It's safe. So, and by the way, over the past 16 years, its performance has been roughly, it's up 200 million%. So I'm not sure if you like spending $1 and 16 years later having $200 million. The only reason why I would recommend you buy $1 worth of Satoshis is if you want $200 million in 16 years. That's just my recommendation. The reason why I want you to go beyond a couple of percentage points in your portfolio that someone else takes care of to a handful of sats that you control is because that empowers you to decide what you want to do with your Bitcoin right when you want to do it. You don't have to wait for Vanguard's business hours. You don't have to interact with that account or with a money manager. You should definitely still do it, by the way. Absolutely 100 million% put 3% in. But it would be fun if you have $50 a week or even $50 a month to stack some sats directly into your wallet that you control, your digital purse, your digital cash, hopefully not your digital card that gets digitally broken into, but your digital purse, your digital cash that you can control, and you can watch the value of that go up as well. Because in some of your retirement accounts, even as you watch Bitcoin go to the moon, 200 million%, they might say, well, that's great. You're a squillionaire, but you do need to wait 11 years until you're allowed to pull this money out without any tax penalties. And you're like, dang it, I could have had my island 10 years early. What am I doing? When you control your own Bitcoin, if that Bitcoin goes to the moon, you could sell it for an island straight away. And it's very easy to stack your own sats by going to a place just like Fidelity and buying Bitcoin. They have different names like Bitcoin Well or Coinbase or River, but they're just places where you go to buy this stuff the same way you go to Fidelity or Vanguard to buy those things. And when you're ready to sell it back, you just sell it back and boom, you've got your cash. So I'm going to stop there. One thing that we do, because Bitcoin is such a big topic, you can't fit it all into one chat about sats. We ask each of our guests, Andrea, if they'd be willing to come back on in 9 months to give us an update on their Bitcoin baby. Have you stacked some sats into your own little smartphone wallet? Have you put a couple of percentage points in your portfolio? Would you be willing to come back on in 9?
Yes, I would. This is really interesting. Yeah, I would. I'm going to try it.
So I'll do a quick recap here. Andrea, single mom, entrepreneur, public relations, California, her son ripping on them candles, getting up early. He's in the crypto casino gambling. Yo, mom, get some Solana. No, mom. Okay. Bitcoin is Bitcoin. Crypto is kryptonite. Get you some Bitcoin. You already have access to Bitcoin on Wall Street. Go ahead and chip in a little, just a whoop, because it'll. But we want you to have more control over your own Bitcoin. And since it's one of the realest things on earth, even though you can't touch it, that makes it one of the best, actually the best investment of all time. Yeah. And it's going to go up 100 million billion squillion percent because it's the most useful money we've ever seen. And its supply is going to zero. Its demand is going to infinity. Of course, it's going to explode. So we are going to crunch on some Ithaca hummus here in the studio. And then we're going to give you your chance to continue along with $50 like you know and potentially love or don't love, or stack your first sats right here on the show and start your Bitcoin journey. So before we make that offer to you, we're going to try a little bit of the Ithaca hummus that you selected, which was everything bagel. Now, have you ever heard of Ithaca hummus?
No, sounds good. It sounded good. Everything bagel.
Mm.
Yeah, so California, Orange County.
Whole Foods, Sprouts, Gelson's. Ralph's soon. So yeah, at the end of each episode, we taste a little bit of this Ithaca hummus. And lately, we have been searching for the perfect blank canvas to go along with the Ithaca hummus in the form of a chip or cracker, to hopefully one day sit alongside Ithaca hummus as a sponsor of the show.
Yeah.
Today we've got Blue Diamond crackers. These are nut thins. They're made out of almond. They've got a hint of sea salt. They come in a nice blue box. And we're going to try this Ithaca everything bagel hummus. You already got some?
Yep. Here we go.
So let's do it.
That's crunchy.
Wow. That is like crunch affinity.
Yeah.
Ton
of crunch.
And
I like them.
kind of a nice, almond flavor.
I like all these crackers we get to try here because it's like, some feel healthier, more fiber, crunchier, softer.
That thing is way crunchy. I love it.
Yeah, it's crunchy. It's almost got like a little shine to it too. Like, what is that?
Stands up to the thickness of the Ithaca as well. No breakage. That's very important.
I like that. All right.
So let's make Andrea her offer. Okay. This is the hero's decision, Andrea, right now.
All right, Andrea. So here on Sat Chats, we believe in exchanging our value for your value. You were so generous with your time. You were engaged. You asked lots of great questions here today on the episode. So we want to give you your choice from us to you as a gift between $50 US, which we'll Venmo you. They'll take a fee from. We'll electronic ACH. It'll take a week. They'll probably take a little fee.
We'll say, please, sir, will you help us send Andrea these $50? Can we have your permission to send this?
Yeah. I mean, we could mail it to you, but then we're gonna have to subtract the 50 cents postage, and by the time it gets to you, it'll have inflated already, and so it'll have less purchasing power when it gets to you. Or we will give you $50 in Bitcoin, okay? Which, if you look at the Clark Moody Bitcoin dashboard right behind me, the exchange rate for one Bitcoin is $78,820, which translates into 1,269 sats per dollar. Multiply that by 50, and you get 63,450 sats, or $50.
I'm going to go with the Bitcoin. The sats.
Yes!
Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
That
Andrea
feels so
stacking
good.
the sats. Let's go.
It really amps us up every time we have a free coiner that goes with the sats, because it means we won. We did our job.
We did it. And Andrea's going to start her self-custody Bitcoin journey right now. And when we come back in 9 months, she's going to be like, I'm coming to you live from my island. So we're like, oh my God, Andrea did it. Whoa. So thank you so much for your time here, Andrea. If our Satillionaires want to engage with you, your public relations, where can they go to find you?
They can go to prolificpr.co. You can find me on LinkedIn, and they can also go to Instagram at Prolific Public Relations. So I'm out there. Love to see you guys.
Awesome. And we'll put those in the show notes. So, Andrea, thanks so much for stacking the sats with us here today. You bring our scoreboard to 50 guests who have stacked the sats, 5 who need a little bit more time. It's really interesting because our goal is to get to 100 who stack the sats before we get to 10 who choose the cash. And it's a very tight race because we're kind of at a 10% level here, to where we might get to a 100 right when we get to 10. So this is the part of the show where we ask for your value in exchange for our value. What do we value the most? YouTube channel subscriptions. What are we willing to give you in exchange for you just clicking or tapping? Good God, dude. I wish I could get as much as I'm about to offer you in exchange for clicking or tapping. You're going to get your chance to win 1 million Satoshis. along with a live show Friday morning, 10 a.m. Unlocked. Just get us to 999 plus one subscribers. And we will hit you with these two fantastic things. Plus, don't forget, you'll be helping a new Bitcoiner get his laser eyes each time you like and subscribe to our show on YouTube. 5 stars on Spotify. Support us directly. Our on-chain Bitcoin and Lightning addresses are in the show notes. If you're already on board with Lightning, you can zap us your sats at satchats@getalby.com. Sat Chats is for educational purposes only and should not be construed as financial advice. Also, our guests' views are their own. The road to number 99 marches on. See you tomorrow, Satillionaires. Bye-bye.